strippers of Reddit. What's your weirdest story while working? One of our old dancers passed away 10 years ago in a drunk driving accident. Every holiday her mom and some of her church friends come into the club and pass cookies and jewelry to girls in memorial. We love our sweet church ladies. Not a stripper, but owe my life to one. Used to work at a strip joint as head of security. One of the girls, they called me little brother, so I called them girls, said one of the patrons was creeping her out. We made creepy. We are talking Scooby-Doo creepy. Dude leave. Girl then asked for someone to walk her to the car as she had a bad feeling. I said I would as I was not busy. I went out first, checked around, and did not see anyone in the parking lot. Went and got the girl and started to walk her to her car. Creepy dude came out from the dumpster. I did not see him in time and he smacked me in the back of the head with a brick. I go down to both knees. I hear high-pitched girly screams. I'm trying to get to my feet, clear the cobwebs. Thankfully I have more bone than brain. Only to find the girl smashing the creep's head into the ground. After she literally crushed ONR of his testicles with her foot. She said he was trying to smash the brick into my head a second time when she went on the offensive. Did a hell of a number on him. Oh god, I have plenty of weird shit that is all kinda tied for weirdest. My first customer ever, my manager talked me into going up to. He wanted a peep show. Basically where you charge anything you want as a fee up front and you'll go down this little hall and enter a room that's divided by a big mirror covered with a curtain. It's supposed to be one way, but you can definition see the guy. There's vinyl benches in both rooms as well as an old-fashioned wall phone. The guy puts money in a machine and the curtain on the one-way mirror goes up to reveal, tada, you. And then you both pick up the phone and you basically dirty talk and put on a show, striptease, or whatever, while the guy jerks it. The curtain only stays up for a few minutes, so he has to keep putting money in, and the point is to drag it out as long as possible. And it started relatively normal, and then he started talking about all this weird bestiality shit, and do I watch my parents duck? I couldn't do it, and ended up bailing. While all my coworkers and managers laughed at me because he was a regular, and they knew he was a strange one. It was my initiation, and before I understood the just go along with it for the money thing that you do sometimes lol. Plus I was horrified to realize you could definition see the guy jerking it and all the gross cum stains on the mirror. Second club I worked at, I had this super nice straight-laced lawyer that would come in and often paid me just to talk and relax while he had some drinks, and I actually really liked him because he was super smart, well spoken, and we had great conversation. When he'd want to dance though, he'd get one of the bigger rooms and all he wanted was to take his shirt off and for me to flick and twist his nipples while I danced. Didn't want me dancing on him. Didn't touch himself or anything. Would literally go just from me touching his nipples. It was different, but the money was great and he was a nice dude. Also had an extremely large dude that used to come in and would never say a word to me. Just showed me money and pointed towards the back. Honestly I never wanted to go because he was so big, I just didn't know what to do really. It's not like I could straddle him because he was so large it'd basically be grinding on his stomach, which I thought was weird. Anyway, he never ever spoke a word to me and it always dance standing in front of him and just do a slow striptease kinda thing. He always sat on his hands with a blank look, tipped pretty well, and that was it. Also worked with a girl who clearly had a death wish BC. Shed leave with random guys all the time and often would come in asking to borrow panties BC. Shed bum rides from guys in exchange for sexual favors and would be extremely graphic about how cum soaked her panties were and how she needed a new pair for work. IDK why she wouldn't just pack an extra pair or, you know, not do that. But the shit that came out of her mouth and the things she did. Incredibly strange. Edit. Also, BC I read the comments and some of the injury stories. This particular club was smaller, and around the front of the stage was a half circle bar where guys could sit at, and then the rest of the front room was tables and chairs. The bar part connected with the stage, so often girls would crawl around / lay on the bar or whatever and then obviously get up close to shake their tits or as for whoever tipped. Had a bunch of drunk college dungs come in one night who all sat at the bar and kept throwing change at the girl on stage. DJ warned them and they stopped, except one guy who kept trying to pelt her with pennies. Manager came and said if he did it again, they were all out. Manager goes back to the bar but is watching them close. Guy does it again and before the manager even begins to walk over, the girl snaps, loses her shit and beats the duck out of him with her shoe. I was in the back at the time, but they had to call an ambulance for him and it was a big deal. She had been near him on the bar when he did it, so she initially kicked him in the face and then ripped her shoe off. Basically tackled him, so he fell backwards in his chair and just went at him with the heel. Couldn't see anything BC, all the commotion and the security guards were trying to get all the girls in the back / keep the girls that were already in the back there and won't let us on the floor, but heard what happened from girls that were on the floor at the time after. Edit. I didn't think this would get any attention, let alone this much. Thanks guys. Y'all have got me debating how far down the rabbit hole I wanna take y'all. BC, I've got more lol, but this is already a book. AHH. It's finally my time to shine. Let me tell you about Catfoot Breath. This man was a heart surgeon, and if you didn't know that, you would think he was a janitor or something. He came across as barely functional. This man's mouth smelled like dry cat food and a hot juicy dumpster on a summer day mixed together in perfect harmony. Well anyways, he would tell me and everyone at the bar how his dream life was to kidnap me and take me to Mexico, not allow me to ever sleep, and to encase me in a body condom and throw me into a pool of ice if I tried to sleep at all. Hit Club. Guy who was a celery farmer came in and gave us all 3 bags of celery. There was also Candle Guy, worked at a candle factory and would bring in the reject. Supposedly other farmers with various free foods would come in, but I only got hooked up with celery and candles. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I have lots of unwholesome stories from my time on the pole, but it was nice to share a harmless one for a change. The only appropriate way to stalk a stripper. Edit. Obligatory thanks for the golden gifts, kind strangers. Also shout out to those who shared the Chelsea FC celery chant. Amazing. I was the bartender at a strip club for a few months once. I have seen and heard some crazy stories. Classic strip club stuff. But this one time, a customer brought in her pet parrot to the bar. I obviously spent the rest of my shift talking with the parrot. His name was Pickle. He tipped me $1. He was a real gem. I got paid $500 to beat a man with his own belt on stage for his last night as a bachelor. I was brutal, and the more savage I got, the more tips rolled in. That poor guy. But through all the screams and wincing, he actually loved every bit of it. Hope he healed before the wedding. I got asked by a guy to have my feet sucked. He seemed pretty normal for the most part. Told everyone in the club. Walked into work about a week later and he was the new bouncer /view 200D. A buddy paid me back $200 with a banded stack of $2 bills. Went to a nearby club with a friend and all was well until a young dancer took the stage. We began putting money on the stage and she just stops and says, "What the duck is this?" Apparently she hadn't seen a $2 bill before. An ex-pro skater took a liking to me and kept buying dances from me. Clubs in my city don't have VIP rooms. I was a baby stripper, so after a few dances I just ran out of moves lol. But the guy started calling me Arwin and Liv. I kept saying those aren't my name and he confessed he was in love with my because I looked like Liv Tyler in the 90s. Probably the best compliment I've received. The bad experiences I think I've repressed. There's a very sweet older man who is a regular at my club. He's never gropey and always tips in 20s. His only request is to lick and suck in the bottom of our shoes. I can't see the harm in it, but it grosses some girls out. I guess so long as he's paying. He can shine my shoes all day lol. Our club has been closed for months now. I wonder how he's doing these days. Not a stripper, but was an escort. A man booked me for $400 for 2 hours just to get naked to have dinner in the room and talk to him on the bed. Never wanted sex. Just be naked and talk about stuff. He said he never get to talk to his wife like that. Kinda sad for him. I've had friends/relatives with marriages with seemingly no connections like this. An old friend of mine had sex so infrequently with his wife that when she wanted to have a baby he was over the moon with excitement. And of course she got pregnant on the first try, then immediately shut him down again. Poor guy was a genuinely good person. Perfect husband and dad, and his wife treated him like she stepped in something. She was a total cunt to me and my wife too. I always wanted to ask him why doesn't bail, but I figure it's not my place. I can't understand it. How do these marriages keep going for so long? Edit. This got a lot of response overnight, especially from the armchair psychologists, and I'm not up for answering every reply. So let me put to bed. See what I did there. The more common ones. 1. No, I do not think she was pregnant by another dude and trying to pawn it off on him. Where do you people come up with these unlikely scenarios? She was just one of those miserable bitches that takes everything too seriously and refuses to enjoy life and thinks you shouldn't either. Yes, it is unusual to get pregnant on the first try. Unless you know this chick and know she is the type to turn it into a soulless mathematical equation to ensure she had it the first time. She's incapable of having fun, and an affair would be fun, albeit unethical. 2. This happened over 20 years ago. I've since lost touch with the guy, and his kids would be adults at this point anyway. Please stop telling me to have a talk with him. It ain't gonna happen. 3. I'm a big boy. I can figure out when it is appropriate to comment on someone's marriage and when it is not my place. Despite us being good friends at the time, it was definitely not my place to get involved in his marriage. It is no idle comment to tell someone to leave their wife. Jesus. It's like /r/relationship_advice is leaking into this sub. You people need to get a grip. 4. Yes, I realize there are many other reasons to stay married other than sex. But if you truly love someone you will want them to be happy. If that means flopping on your back and at least attempting to have a good time, that is what you do. I know I would do that for my wife. It would have been a whole 10 minutes out of her day once a month to have kept him happy. No marriage ends over sex. Marriages end when the two sides stop working to make each other happy. I feel like most dancers have countless stories. Hard to find weird ones because they're all a little odd and it becomes normal over time. One man spent over 1,000 on me over a couple hours. I massaged his back and he fell asleep in a champagne room. When he woke up he said, "How did you know exactly what I needed?" After the champagne room he wanted more time with me and we went to do several private dances. He cried during them while I sat on his lap and sang to him and brushed his hair back, massaging his scalp with my nails. Another man came up to me garbling about worshipping me and wanting to lick the bottom of my heels, suck the stiletto and drink my urine. It was so slow and I was reading a book in the back of the club. So I was awfully surprised when someone approached me and unleashed all of that on me. My manager said he'd pee in a glass for me if I really wanted to go for it. Edit wording and added some more details. Also, the song in the first story was Breeze Blocks. For those of you setting the tone with Sarah McLachlan playing in your head. Who hurt that first dude WTF? Yeah. The story about him reminds me of those rescue puppy videos on YouTube, where the puppy cries and is terrified to be touched. Equals. I went with my friend on a sorta slow Tuesday night. Met this dancer that hated this one creepy dude and asked me to keep buying dances and she'll pay me back and take me to the 24-hour folk place. Heard this one before. I keep buying dances and we talk about Zelda OOT. End of the night comes around. She gives me her number and texts me to meet at the folk place in an hour. A woman of her word. She gives me my cash back and buys me pho. TL. Dr. Stripper bought me pho. Like this video and this good boy will be your mailman forever. We are Redditation. And we redditate every day. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. Until then, check another video. Or don't. Either way, have a wonderful day you magnificent people.